Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more CasterMuse Narak StarLeague. We are now entering into Group A from the round of 32, and this is going to be an exciting one because the player who, in my opinion, is the strongest foreigner player, the strongest non-Korean, I guess if you don't consider me, here in the top right, it's Dewalt. And in the bottom right, his opponent is going to be a pretty regular ASL player. He didn't make it this past season, but a very strong Protoss player going by the ID Tolbo here. He also plays under YSC. You might remember him. He's like the really big Protoss player with the beard. Okay, so the other two players in this group are Yoon, the very strong Zerg player, one of those really good up-and-coming Zergs, and then Nansu, who I actually don't know Nansu. So he's a big underdog here. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get, like, eliminated in the group, honestly. Like, maybe he's good enough to beat one of these guys PvP or something, but I'm really not sure, to be honest. But anyways, as I mentioned, Dewalt being in the group is really, really exciting. He is just a fantastic non-Korean player. Of course, sometimes it's funny the way that we divide up the StarCraft scene, right? There's the Koreans and the non-Koreans, but historically, we haven't included the Chinese players within the non-Korean scene. It's been more like there's three scenes. There's like the Korean scene, the Chinese scene, and the non-Korean scene, because the Chinese scene mostly keeps to itself. It doesn't really play with the other players that are not Korean, but they have more recently due to Zero and his BSL tournament. So, yeah, when I say Dewalt is the best non-Korean, I'm kind of thinking those older terms where those were three separate scenes, because I would say that probably Mihu is overall the strongest, but Dewalt, I think, you know, outside of China and Korea, my vote for the strongest player overall. Really a lot of respect for this guy. He kind of has all the builds. He has a lot of speed. And yeah, he plays this style that kind of can bring you really high over time. So excited to see what he can do here. I really hope that he ends up advancing. So taking a look, this is Butter, and there are a few things about Butter for Protoss versus Protoss. The first thing is you have a choke, not a ramp. Okay, so that makes it more likely that you'll see something like a 3-gate. And as soon as you have a build, or a map rather, that does not have a ramp, 3-gate becomes more powerful, because without that high ground advantage, if your opponent has more units, they can sometimes just bludgeon their way in. Now, of course, it is a small choke, so there is some defense here. But as soon as a 3-gate becomes a potentially very strong build for a map, it adds a small degree of rock, paper, scissors into the game, right? So basically, like a 2-gate observer loses to a 3-gate, but a 3-gate loses to Dark Templar, and Dark Templar loses to a 2-gate observer. Now, these are not hard and fast rules. There are little micro tricks that can occur and whatnot, and of course, there are Reaver builds that you can do to kind of hedge, but that's just something to mention. You know, that's something that we saw very heavily on Gladiator because it has low ground main bases. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there as a possibility that we could see because of the lack of ramp. But right now, looks like pretty mirrored builds at the moment. We'll see what they're going to add. It looks like Dewalt's going to go Robo. Yeah, there it is. Not a big surprise, kind of a forward Robo here so he can rally out, but it's not close enough to the choke that you can necessarily see what's going on with it if he gets contained. Now, looks like YSC might just go ahead and make a Nexus here. So I actually like YSC's build a little bit more. Dewalt's, now this can turn into something aggressive, right? Like he can go for, if he goes directly into Reaver, it's like a Reaver 2-gate push, 1 Reaver, 1 shuttle, and whatever units he can pop out of the gateways. Okay, that can turn into something pretty good and pretty aggressive here. But like, let's say he goes Observer here and just makes goons nonstop. Is kind of, again, like a hedging build where you're trying not to die to anything, you're trying to be robust. Well, this very greedy fast Nexus then is going to be super strong against that. Look, he's going 3-gate afterwards. So basically, looking at the timing of all this, right, this gate is a little bit quicker than these two, but basically in a minute, we're going to have more units for YSC than for Dewalt. So if he went Observer with this, and that's exactly what he's doing, we do have the advantage here for YSC, right? Like, you take a risk like this, and you can just get ahead. So we'll see what Dewalt ends up doing. Of course, this is not the end of the game. The game doesn't just end because you have this quicker Nexus. There is going to be a little bit of play here for Dewalt. He's going to have more scouting intel. Maybe he can go into Reaver afterwards. Maybe he can make his Nexus and play a more defensive Reaver-heavy style. He does go for that Reaver tech now. So the first Observer is going to be popping out, and he'll probably go Reaver right thereafter. Look at this spread from YSC. Look at this. Dragoon, 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 Dragoon. Zealot sitting here. So he scouts in every direction to see if anything's incoming and then runs back. This probe watching the main path that his opponent would come down. And now the Observer going down for the scout. A second Observer on the way here for Dewalt. So he's playing very safe, right? If you send your Observer out, DT players will wait for that and then run a DT in. And that's why he's made the second one. So Dewalt just now looks like he's going to take the Nexus. And one thing I do want to mention is his probe production has been pretty much nonstop, whereas Tulbo he delayed it a little bit to get the Nexus up and get the gateways up. You know, this is common stuff. When you get a quick expansion, oftentimes you're slowing down the probe production. But he will jump ahead because he has the double Nexus. Now, YSC coming up, and he's going to tank with that initial Zealot. Ooh, nice micro back on this one Dragoon. And can he actually break through? His Zealot doing a ton of damage in here. The fact that Dewalt's taking Zealot hits is a big, big deal. And it looks like we do have a slight advantage here for YSC right now. And there's no Nexus. So this is very painful. He needs to run, though. He needs to get out of here. That Zealot did so much work. Zealots take more shots to die from a Dragoon and do higher DPS, damage per second, than Dragoons do. So this Zealot has actually been a hero here. Now he runs up again, but a huge Reaver shot upon him, and another big shot as well. And now Dewalt starts to hold this attack very handedly, but YSC will retreat. Maybe he'll lose one more Dragoon here, but he does have that additional production. Shuttle on the way. He knows exactly what Dewalt's build is at this point. He saw the exact amount of units. He saw the Reaver come out. He saw the lack of Nexus into Nexus. So that's a ton of information. And now he's going into his own Reaver here. And, of course, this build's so fast that it'll be done by the time the shuttle is out. And we have YSC up like 4 workers. Nexus, 2/3 the way done. So definitely you have to say that YSC right now has a pretty sizable advantage. But we'll see what Dewalt does, right? Like, he's got 2 Reavers already. Having the Reaver advantage is something. Generally, you won't see more than 4 Reavers, and a lot of people actually stop at 2 because it is very hard to micro double shuttle Reaver during fights. So will he be able to actually utilize these Reavers that he went for so quickly to get anything done? Well, the way he's pushing right now, he does have his Observer kind of spotting what's going on. It looks like he wants to get some kind of free shots here. Oh, the misclick there from YSC. Takes a big double Scarab volley. Loses 2 Dragoons. So that's a nice pick off. YSC right now looks like he's cutting his probe production once again to really get that macro flying. Going up to 4 gates. That's pretty standard 4 gate plus Reaver production on those 2 bases. Looking over at Dewalt, he's got the same thing going on. Dewalt actually running around where this army is. His Observer is giving him a lot more intel. So he is utilizing this one thing that he did that we did not see from YSC. Now, YSC, it looks like he may dive. No. Okay, the Reavers actually came back. These Dragoons go up and find a pylon. This scouting pylon doing a great job for him. He needs to run, though. He needs to get these Dragoons out of here. If he loses these Dragoons, the game ends. He needs to get them out. Okay, so backs up, gets over that little bridge, and bringing down his shuttle now as well. So I think Dewalt's going to be okay. I'm surprised he's taking any sort of engagement here, but he is luring right now YSC back into these Reavers. And yeah, I'm actually not too surprised that YSC sniped that shuttle. It feels like he got the better end of that. I'm surprised that Dewalt screwed around down here as much as he did, honestly. This is like a kind of a scary moment. He has to know that macro-wise, YSC is a little bit ahead of him, so he does have to be a little bit careful about that. Now, YSC looks like he's going for an attack. The Observer watching this, the Reaver's trying to run back. These Dragoons went up and like kind of harassed this pylon, and now they're going for like a flanking maneuver. Oh, I don't like this for Dewalt at all. Look at this. The Reavers come back as well. Oh, God. Oh, God. Don't lose that shuttle. Drops out his double Reaver, but he's stopped the reinforcements, or the flanking attack, I guess you could say. And there's no way with 4 gates that you're going to be able to hold this many Dragoons. That's crazy. Like, 8 Dragoons in here. They're going to absolutely massacre, and he kills this part of the army as well. It looks to me like, you know, Dewalt is definitely dead this game. He is going to go to that loser match. But great play from both players. Like, I think Dewalt had some good ideas in there. He got behind on those early build orders, and YSC with that little risk does pull ahead. But honestly, he kind of outmaneuvered as well. Even though there were observers in the map and Dewalt saw what was going on, YSC still outplays him. GG! YSC to the winner's match.